Presenting sponsors, Memorial Hermann Northeast, and we have Noel Cardenas with them. Where'd he go? And he's going to introduce a few doctors with us this year.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? So as you can see, the gunk's out there because even I get it. So it's out there. So just be cautious. We have a couple of doctors that we're going to bring up and have them share some information with you all. One of the things that we're doing instead of coming out and always giving updates in the hospital, we really want to promote our mission and vision, which is advancing the health of our communities, and then also with our vision of ensuring that we're creating healthier communities for generations to come. So with that, I've got Dr. Wagner, who's going to come up and talk about our bariatrics program, and then we also have Dr. Neela Mehta, who's with Wellspire. And February is Heart and Health Month, so we wanted to make sure that as we move forward in sponsoring these events, that we want to make sure we're talking about things that get our communities healthier, and things that they need to be aware of. So I'll start off with Dr. Wagner.
Hey there, how are y'all? Thank you guys for having me. I'm Dr. Bradley Wagner. I'm a general and bariatric surgeon here in the greater Houston area. I've been performing weight loss surgery now for about 15 years in the surrounding area. And so we've just recently enacted a bariatric program here at Memorial Hermann Northeast, right here in Humble. And so I'm just going to talk about that just for a few seconds, and won't take up too much of your time. So basically, a lot of people don't even really know a lot about weight loss surgery. Like I said, the other name for it, what we call it is bariatric surgery, but I'll just use the term weight loss surgery. Basically, it's a surgery that's done minimally invasive, meaning it's laparoscopic for the most part, very small incisions. We perform the surgery. Most patients are able to go back home the next day. And then following that, most patients are actually able to go back to work, kind of depending on the type of job they do, but within a week or so. And so we see very good results with this. It's basically the only tried and true method that's been done with studies and proven with studies to show any true weight loss and for them to sustain that weight loss for any significant amount of time. The studies that have been done with just diet and exercise only show about a 10% body weight loss for those patients. Once again, and we're talking about patients that have a BMI of 35, 40, and greater. So these are patients that are 100 pounds over their ideal body weight. We're not talking about the person that needs to lose 20, 30 pounds. And so studies have shown that surgery is basically the only thing out there so far that works for these patients. It's hard for me to explain a whole lot exactly what goes into it, so I won't do that. But basically what we do is we have the patients come in, I see them, we talk to them, we try to find out exactly what fits them as far as what surgery to do. And then we have to get them approved by insurance, which is one of the harder things to do with bariatric surgery. It's not like if you have an appendix that needs to be removed, or if your gallbladder needs to be removed, where we pretty much can just schedule you. With this type of surgery, it's something that the patient has to go through, depending on what their requirements are. Sometimes a 3 to 6 month program with us, seeing a nutritionist, getting cleared by their medical doctors before they can even be approved for surgery. So it can be kind of a long and drawn out process, but we try to make it as quick as possible. We give them, my office, and with the help of the hospital, we give them that, we help them through every step of the way and make it where they don't get lost in the shuffle. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Anita, and she's going to talk about the program a little bit more as well. She's our bariatric program coordinator there at the hospital.
Hi, just really quick, I'm not going to go into too much about the program, just that we do offer a weight loss surgery support group. It's the third Wednesday of every month at Memorial Hermann Northeast Hospital. This support group is not only for people who've had weight loss surgery in the past, but those who are interested as well, and family members of those who are interested or who have family members who have had weight loss surgery. I did put that information over here on the table if you're interested, as well as my card and Dr. Wagner's card for anyone who is interested or has questions. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Thank you again, Memorial Herman, for our presenting sponsor. Just a real quick, I want to mention our gold and silver sponsors. We got gold sponsors, Chick-fil-A Wilson Road Beltway 8, HEB Summerwood, which is also our lunch today. Thank you, HEB. K&S Sportswear, Generation Park, and Redemption Square. And our silver sponsors, Jimerson Tax and Accounting, CPA, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and PostNet Summerwood. So be sure to spread the love with all these organizations as well. Thank you. Next, our next speaker would be Brent McDonald from Summer Creek High School.
Dr. Mayor.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Mayor.
Dr. Better, there you are. Come on, Dr. Better. Sorry.
No, no worries.
My apologies.
Hey guys, how are y'all? Good. So everyone should probably put their sandwiches and their chips down. Who got their exercise in today? Oh man, that's a good 3 out of the crowd. So I want to thank Noel and Memorial Herman. This is Heart Month. This is really important. Heart disease is actually the #1 killer in men and women in this country and throughout the world almost. And it's important to stay healthy. And my name is Dr. Mehta. I'm one of the cardiologists at Wellspire Medical Group. We've been in the community for about 35 years. My dad started the practice, and it's kind of grown and expanded. And so our purpose is to keep the community healthy, and with the help of Memorial Herman, I think we do a really good job with that. But coming back to Heart Month and heart health, if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, if you're not exercising, if you're overweight, these are things that always affect the heart, and these are things that you guys should really kind of look at. You know that the American Heart Association says we should be getting 30 to 45 minutes of exercise 4 to 5 days out of the week. And how many of us are doing that? All right, that's much better. I like that. So what happened this morning? That's good running weather. You know, it's important because, you know, if you put the heart at the center of being healthy and keeping the pump healthy, you want to control diabetes, control high blood pressure, control your cholesterol. You want to exercise routinely, and then when things occur, when you're short of breath, or if you have chest discomfort, if you're having any swelling in your legs, if you're having any pain, these are the things that you really need to go check in with your doctor for. And from my standpoint, there's multiple things that you guys should be doing to stay healthy. And the biggest thing is keeping a healthy weight and looking at those risk factors. So going to your doctor on a routine basis. Our clinic is unique, and we have a multi-specialty clinic. We have not only primary cares, we have urology, dermatology, cardiology, and endocrinology. So you've got diabetes issues, if you need primary cares, we kind of work as a team, and we put an emphasis on that. Our physicians work together, and we try to keep the community really healthy. And for those of you who have seen us or come to our clinic, we appreciate it. But I think we do a good job, and with Memorial Herman, we try to keep things healthy. For 30 years, my dad's been practicing, and he's retired recently, but has a really, he took really great care of his patients, and that's what we strive to do. We try to make it a partnership, but a lot of times with heart health and with other things, it really comes from the patient, and we really push them to do the right stuff, eat the right stuff, and be healthy and exercise. So if there's any concerns on that, I left some cards up there. We have different specialties up there. Please grab one. But, this is Heart Month. If you've got a goal, you want to lose some weight, you want to do some stuff, set some time aside for yourself and get healthy. If you need help, we're here to help, okay? You guys have any questions for me? All right. Have a good
Mr. McDonald, come on up. Tell us what's going on at Summer Creek High School. And again, thank you for the association.
Thank you.
Good morning. Great crowd. Appreciate you coming to Summer Creek High School. I am Brent McDonald. Honored to be the principal at Summer Creek High School, and thank you for being here today. We think we have just some tremendous things happening at Summer Creek High School. Currently, right now, our girls just clinched the outright district basketball championship on Tuesday night. We were aided a little bit with our sister friends over at Humble High School beating at Taft High School. Otherwise, it would have been a tie, but instead we got a great upset. And now our boys are still tied with the Taft for the district championship, which finishes up on Tuesday. So we're looking for 2 district championships. Our girls soccer team is absolutely dominating right now, which is outstanding to see out there in that frigid weather. Our girls, our starlets, our dance team just won grand champions at their competition just the other day. It was an incredible performance by our starlets. We are planning on our tiny home being put on the trailer and taken away in 2 weeks, in which we'll have a fire drill at that time. Have all the kids go outside. At the same time, we're going to have the trailer pull the tiny house around the school so everybody sees what's taking place, because the tiny home was designed by, built by, and funded by lots of people, and our students were very thoroughly involved in this project. So we're excited, and we've already picked out our veteran that will receive this tiny home, and then we'll begin on tiny home number 2 in just about another 3 weeks. So that's very exciting here at Summer Creek High School. Lastly, I'd like to kind of talk about is a quick question. Do y'all know what anybody interested, what is a dual credit class? Anybody quickly, dual credit class is? Don, it is what dual credit class is what?
High school, college credit.
So you get college credit done at the same time you're doing the high school credit. Dual credit English 4, dual credit English 3 at Summer Creek, dual credit U.S. history, dual credit government, dual credit theater. So that costs about $100 through the Lone Star College, but they do it while they're here. They get their high school credit while they get their 3 hours of their government, 3 hours of their economics, which costs $1,000 when they're in college. So at Summer Creek High School, we're pushing right now to get their basics done, because you've heard that before. I'm going to stay at home after high school, get my basics done at the community college. We want our students to get their basics done while they're in high school, because a class will cost $100 at Summer Creek through Lone Star College, but it's going to cost $1,000 after you graduate or wherever you go to school or plus. So our push right now is dual credit classes and AP classes at Summer Creek, and our enrollment is skyrocketing because that's the kind of students we have here right now. So if you have high school credit, high school students, or if you have middle school students, please look that track as you move forward, because Summer Creek High School, that's the kind of students we're dealing with right now. Kids that want to save, and parents that want to save $16,000 to $20,000 because they'll go to college as sophomores in college rather than just freshmen, okay? So welcome. Great things happen at Summer Creek. I'm headed to my next meeting, and thank you for everybody that's come out today, and have a great meeting.
Great. Thank you, Humble ISD and Dr. Fagan for letting us host these here at the school district. One of the most favorite programs here at the Chamber. All right, next up will be Jenna Armstrong, President and CEO of Lake Houston Area Chamber, to speak about the Lives Over Levels campaign that is very top of mind right now.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to go through this campaign. I'm sure many of you are aware of the campaign that we're doing, or I hope. Does anybody, have they never heard of Lives Over Levels? Is this new to anyone? Okay, good. So I'm going to go through some of this a little bit quicker. Basically, it's the temporary seasonal lowering of Lake Conroe. This has been in place since the fall, or actually August of 2018. It was voted and approved. It was also voted and approved on by the San Jacinto River Authority Board in 2019. So we've had 2 board votes in favor of the temporary seasonal lowering. And basically what it is in the spring, during the rainy season, Lake Conroe is lowered from their 201 mean sea level down to 200. And that gives us a little extra capacity during our rainy season for Lake Conroe. They don't have to release water so quickly down the San Jacinto River, which comes into the West Fork and feeds into our lake. In the summertime, we get it from 201. It fills back up over the summer in theory, and then it drops from 201, we drop it down to 199. This is protection for our community as we are rebuilding, as we are continuing with our initiatives and projects to get sand and silt and debris out of our West Fork of the San Jacinto River, as we're working to get the gates onto Lake Houston so that we can release water out of our area faster and keep up with all the water that flows into Lake Houston. So this has been a very important program that we've had in place in partnership with the San Jacinto River Authority for the last 2 years. It comes up for a vote again next week, and that's what the board decided when they initially passed this back in 2018, is that it would come up for a vote each February. So this is where we are right now. We have several reasons why we think this is a good, you just heard me tell the benefits of it. It reduces the capacity in Lake Conroe, and it gives us a little bit longer of a time before they have to make any type of release from Lake Conroe down the San Jacinto River. This is, if you haven't seen this, and we see these maps a lot in our organization, but this is the entire watershed. So this, if you'll see right here, let me see if I can move this button. This is Lake Conroe, and these are all the different streams and tributaries, and it all flows into little Lake Houston down here. So that's where we are, right? So you can see that there's an enormous amount of water that flows into Lake Houston, mainly from the East Fork and the West Fork of the San Jacinto River. We're at the bottom of the watershed. The only control point that we have is Lake Conroe. So I know that that's a question that comes up a lot. Why are you targeting Lake Conroe? Why are you doing this to Lake Conroe? This is our only option. It's our only place where we have any type of control mechanism that limits the water, or that gives us the opportunity to limit the water that comes down and feeds into Lake Houston. One of the graphs that came up, and some of the information that was given at the last meeting, and I wanted to show everybody this, about how much water from Lake Conroe contributes to the overall water that's in Lake Houston. And you'll see this percentage, and you'll probably heard this, that it's 14% of the overall inflow into Lake Houston. But when we're looking specifically at the West Fork, and that's what we're looking at when we're talking about our Lives Over Level campaign, and we're talking about temporary seasonal lowering of Lake Conroe, we're talking about the West Fork. So you may hear a lot of people in the opposition, they talk about it's only 14%, it's only 14%. But when you look at the West Fork, it really amounts to about a third of the water that comes in to the West Fork. And that's where we had the huge bottleneck. We had the massive inflow of the sand and the sediment and the debris into the West Fork of the San Jacinto River. That's what pushed into the lake. It's clogged everything up. So that's why we're focusing on the West Fork with this. And so when you look at it during Harvey, the amount that was released was about 80,000 CFS compared to the overall 240,000. So that's about a third of the water that came down the West Fork was from Lake Conroe. When we look at the benefits of this program, the target that we have and the example that we use are the floods that happened last May 2019. A lot of people talk about Imelda. Imelda was a different event, and that was more on the East Fork. And so that wasn't an event that really affected the West Fork or the release of water from Lake Conroe. So when you're looking at when you're looking at the May floods, you can see the benefit that the lake lowering program had. You can see from this chart that we were already in minor flood stage, and if they had released the water, and their modeling shows they would have had to release 2 times the water if we had not had that lake lowered by a foot. That could have pushed us into the moderate flood stage for our area. And so that's the example that we use of, is there a benefit? Yes, there is. And so there is some opposition that's talking about it's minimal, there's a minimal impact, it doesn't really have a benefit, but this shows it does. It kept us from going into moderate flood stage back in May. So why is all this buzz happening? As I said, we've been doing this lake lowering program, or actually the San Jacinto River Authority has been doing this since 2018. They've twice voted on it. Why is it such a big issue now? Well, the fact is, on Lake Conroe, when they do have a lower lake, some of their residents can't get their boats out onto the lake. And they're not able to, enjoy the whole purpose of having their house on the lake. There's a lot of people that believe that we don't have a benefit downstream, that their inability to get out on the lake is a bigger deal because it really doesn't benefit us anyway, so we shouldn't be doing the lake lowering. And so that's a lot of the information that's going around. So since this has been in place for the past 2 years, this last fall, the lake has not risen back up to their normal 201. And that's why there's a lot of people that are unhappy on Lake Conroe. And so they have been attending meetings since November, the San Jacinto River Authority, and they've had a lot of people, and they're very coordinated with their effort. And so since they've had this outpouring, the San Jacinto River Authority Board called for 2 special meetings, January 21st and February 20th. So we've already had one of those meetings, but the February 20th meeting is the last public meeting where the board is going to hear comments about it, and they're going to vote on this issue. So this was the January 21st meeting, and if you can't see it, all the red shirts are the people in Lake Conroe that don't want us to continue the program, and this small little group of white shirts, that's us. And so this is definitely an important issue because we want to make sure that the San Jacinto River Authority Board knows that we do care and this is important to us, and so we want people to show up to this meeting. The meeting is going to be Thursday, February 20th. It's at the Lone Star Convention and Expo Center. It is in Conroe, so it's a drive, and that's one of the reasons we haven't had so many people there. I do want to talk about our campaign strategy really quick. The San Jacinto River Authority, they have been our partners for the past 2 years. They have been coming to our monthly meetings of our long-term recovery task force and have enacted a lot of different measures to help mitigate the flooding downstream. So that's part of our strategies. We're going to show gratitude to the San Jacinto River Authority and say thank you. What you've done has helped. We appreciate the efforts that you've taken. And stick to the facts. We don't bring up Imelda. We talk about the May floods and how that has helped us and how we've benefited from that. As I said, the San Jacinto River Authority has been a good partner. They've created new communication protocols, text and email systems so you can get alerts and know where the lake levels are and when they're going to release and how much they're going to release. They've got a position on the Harris County Office of Emergency Management anytime that there's any type of storm or disaster. They are there now, communicating with Harris County so everybody knows what's going on. And they're also collaborating and a funding partner for a regional watershed study that's going on right now. Since January 21st, after that board meeting we had in January, we tried to move that meeting down here into Lake Houston, and probably many of you guys have heard about that. We felt that we wanted a meeting here in the area that it affects. We had a location, we went to the board voted in favor of it. They heard all of the cries of the people from Lake Houston. They said, yes, we'll do it. Unfortunately, the facility that we found had backed out. But I do want you to realize that they did vote in favor of this. The board heard us. They wanted to do this to give us an opportunity to speak out. But unfortunately, with the amount of people that they're expecting at this meeting, and they're planning for 1,400 plus, there wasn't a facility down here in Montgomery County, which is part of their jurisdiction, is Montgomery County. It ends at the Harris County line. We were unable to secure a facility to do that. So I wanted everybody to be updated on that. So at the meeting, we do have our white shirts available. So we have more white shirts in the crowd. Come to the chamber office, pick up your shirt if you're planning to go to the meeting. We do have bus transportation that is currently planned. You can go to our recoverlakehouston.com site, and you'll see that website down here. And we've got information, and you can click on the link and reserve a seat on the bus. And please do that. If we don't have enough people to fill up all of the buses, we'll probably cancel a bus at the beginning of next week. So if you are planning to ride, please make your reservation on that bus. If you don't want to speak at the meeting, you want to go and support, that's what we want. We want people to go and support. We're not asking for everybody to speak. Because if everybody gets up and says the same thing over and over again, sometimes that can be counterproductive because the board's sitting up there listening to 4 hours of comments, and if it's the same thing over and over again, human nature takes over and you kind of tune it out. So if you're going to say something that's different than what's already been said, and you want to, you can fill out a comment registration form. If you want to go and support and you don't want to speak, that's great. You can fill out that comment registration form and you just register your position. You say, I don't want to speak, you check that box, but I want you to know that I'm in support of lake lowering. And so that's one of the things that we are promoting. There's a copy of it, and I highlighted not speak. I did talk with, if you were there and sat through the 4 hours of comments that we sat through, you would understand why we're making sure people know that that's an option. You will have 3 minutes to speak if you do speak. I just spoke with Jace Houston on my way over here to confirm that. They were looking at doing a different speaker time, but they are sticking with the 3 minutes for each speaker for that meeting, just so that you know. Just remember your audience. We're really taking that position of being respectful. If you've seen the videos, you've seen the boos, you've seen the treatment that we feel our side received when we had our speakers up and they were booing a lot of our community leaders and our elected officials when they were speaking about the protection of lives and property downstream. It's easy to get caught up in that and to want to have a rebuttal and to act the same way. What we're asking for is to stay above the fray and be respectful. Remember, your audience is the San Jacinto River Authority Board. It's not the people of Lake Conroe. We don't have to convince the people of Lake Conroe of anything. All we're doing is making that request to the San Jacinto River Authority Board. Make it easy to say yes to. Make it easy for them to say yes. And if we're yelling and screaming at the board and we're yelling and screaming at everybody, it makes it harder to say yes to, right? So that's what we're trying to remind people of. Also, one thing Dr. Sponzo reminded me of early in the beginning when we first, right after the floods, we asked Dr. Sponzo to chair our long-term recovery task force. And one of the things that came up was we need to meet with the San Jacinto River Authority. And we were like, what? Yeah, okay. They were kind of enemy number one at that time. And so we met with them. It was a good conversation. We started that communication. And the next step was Dr. Sponzo wanted to put the San Jacinto River Authority onto our long-term recovery task force for Lake Houston. And I was like, okay, this is going a little too far here. You know, these are the people that released all this water that caused all the issues. And we're trying to save our community. And one of the things that he said to me is that we have to have them as a partner. If we're going to move forward and actually be productive, if we're going to move forward and actually make things happen and protect our area, we have to involve them in the conversations and be a part of the solution. And boy, was he right. And if you know Dr. Sponzo, you know his wisdom that he has. And he is absolutely correct. So we have been working together with them. And let me tell you, working together with them has really benefited our area. So just remember that SJRA is our partner. And they have been our partner for the last 2 years. And we want them to remain our partner. One of the things Jerry Martin, if you know him, he's the pastor of Light of the World Christian Fellowship. He was actually the chamber board chair when we flooded. And I called him after all the boos and everything that we received, and I'm like, we've got to get a grasp of this. I don't want our community showing up and booing and looking like that at the next meeting. And everybody on social media is getting into a frenzy, and I'm afraid that that's what that's going towards. So he did help me out on trying to figure this out. And one thing that he said to me, and I just want to leave you with this, that Lake Conroe is not our enemy, the San Jacinto River Authority is not our enemy, the floodwaters are our enemy, and that's a common enemy between both of us. So keep that into perspective as we move forward. They're not our enemy. They're aggravated. They have some concerns. We have some concerns, but really what the problem is floodwaters. So keep that into perspective as we move forward. And I'll be here after if you would like to ask any questions. I'm happy to answer. So.
Thank you so much. As we make a little adjustment on the agenda for a second while we pull up Dr. Doak's speech here real quick. Our other speaker is possibly running a little late, so we may have come up. So we'll just adjust that if she gets here. But we couldn't do this without the advisory board. I wanted to say thank you to them. If you're here, raise your hands if you're on the advisory board. Putting this agenda together and getting all the speakers lined up is not a one-man show. We got all the help with that. So we've got Dr. Dexter Doakes coming up, Executive Director of San Jacinto College at the Generation Park campus.
Thank you. I think I have a big mouth, so I'm going to put this down for a second. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about San Jac. So there's over 1,100 community colleges in the country, 50 in the Texas area. All of us focus on workforce, All of us focus on academic transfers. All of us focus on incumbent worker. We're doing a phenomenal job at that. San Jacinto College started in 1961. Since our inception, there are some things that we focus on very heavily when it comes to workforce. Now, this is important because we know that when society is doing very well, people want to go to work. They want to go to work, but they have to have the skills to be able to do that. And San Jack has been doing that since 1961 in healthcare. We've been doing that in process tech, maritime, aerospace, and engineering. You'll hear a lot about that here in a second.
We're recording some, so they said
Thank you.
for those
Bigger
who
mouth
can't make it. Because we're recording, we gotta get to catch it.
So we have 5 campuses that we currently exist, and the Generation Park campus will be the 5th campus that we're bringing on board in the fall of 2020. So I'll move a little fast because I know we're running a little behind time. So when we started in 1961, we had 6 taxing districts that supported us, and they can support us today, and that is Channel View, Deer Park, Galena Park, LaPorte, Pasadena, and Sheldon. Now, in our service area, you probably can't see the map very good, but we also have 2 other school districts that you see at the bottom, but they're not taxpayer school districts, so they pay out-of-district taxes, which is $135 per credit hour. Now, what makes us so unique and we love working for San Jack is that we have a phenomenal board. Maria is a phenomenal person. The board members have been on this board for a very long time. But not just the board is phenomenal. Our leader and chancellor, Dr. Brenda Hellier, she's done a phenomenal job. She's always at the center of everything that takes place at the college. Now, when we talk about San Jack, when we talk about our friends at Lone Star, Houston Community College, we're not talking about competitors. We're actually talking about students. Everything that we do is about student success. If it's not about a student, then what are we doing? It's not about the competition that we should be focused on. We should be focused on creating spaces where students can go and get the pathways and get the jobs that they want at the end of the day. So here at San Jack, we service unduplicated head count of 32,000 students. As you can see from the chart above, 21,000 or so is about associate degrees, and so it's 67% of what we do. So you can see that the majority of what we do at the community college space is around associate degrees. But the fact of the matter is 6,700 students wanted to transfer to a 4-year institution. We provided that. As you can see from the chart, again, we improved job skills. Some of the students, 2,000 of them earned credits to move forward because they know the value of getting the credits that they need to, technical skills that they need to go into the job market. Some of the students that we serve are coming from family situations, social economic circumstances that are very difficult. So they're part-time students and they're working. So sometimes they don't want to go to a 4-year institution. They want to go get the credentials so that they can go into the workforce, so which is very important. But what is the makeup of San Jack College? 58% is females, 59% Hispanics. Between the ages of 21, we have 44% of our folks. Look at the part-time number. 77% of the people that attend San Jack are part-time students. So you can tell from that they're probably working. Social economic challenge. We have to learn to remove the barriers that stop our folks from being able to get the education that they need. I was talking to a senator one time and I said to him, we either pay now or we pay later, but we pay. The cost we pay up front normally is a lot less than the cost we pay on the back end. So we need to remove the barriers for this to happen. First generation, 50%. Received grant, 21%. So 7,700 of our students' credentials were awarded in the associate degree area, as you can see on here. And I said earlier that most of our students are taking associate degrees, and this simply backs that up. But look at the bottom, transfer to a 4-year institution. What about 3,000 of our students are looking to transfer to a 4-year institution? We're going to talk a little bit about Generation Park here in a second, but what we found in our study that most of the families in the Generation Park area were making about $85,000 to $90,000 as far as income is concerned. And most of those parents are educated. So you can guess that most of those parents wanted their students to go to a 4-year institution. So we're going to talk about the type of courses that we're going to be offering at Generation Park campus to support what the families actually want to do. This is simply just one of the depictions of what I said about the 7,700. But the good thing about this particular slide is that you can see that we're trending up. In 2008 and 2009, for instance, the bottom 997, we've moved up all the way to 997 all the way up to 3,058, from 1,800 to 46, and then overall up to 7,700. So we're moving in the right direction. So everyone has a report card. You always want to know, how well am I doing? Either the public look at you and say what they say, or either your internal constituents say what they're going to say. But here, San Jac, we came out as number 4 when it comes to Hispanics, serving Hispanics. We came out in 2017, I like to point this out, that in 2017, we were considered a rising star among the Aston Awards. But look at what happened in 2019. We showed up as one of the top 10 colleges in the country out of the 1,100. So something we are doing is moving us in the right direction. So let's take a look at this. A student should never fail because a barrier we overlooked or created. A student should never fail because a barrier we overlooked or created. We figured, this was mentioned at our board meeting, that some of the policies and procedures that we had to remove. Because when we ask each other how valuable these are and where they came from, it's like, well, do we need them? And so that barrier, we removed that because at the end of the day, it is about student success. So here's just a simple saying that these are the pathways that we provide, from job skills to careers to academic credentials. I love this slide. Open educational resources. At San Jac, we provide over $6.5 million. Students would have had to pay that for access to books, but instead, we made that happen through open educational resources. You're supposed to clap right there. That was supposed to So let's talk about the districts. If you come to us, in district is $78 and out of district is $135. When you start to look at your student that's coming to the community college space, for the first 2 years, they can come to San Jac and take the courses that actually transfer to the major institutions. So if you pay X at the major institutions, and some of you know what that is, if you come to San Jac, or even Lone Star, any other of the colleges, right? Remember, this is not about competition. This is about student success. You're going to find out that the transfer credits, they actually transfer because of articulation agreements, but it's actually cheaper to do it than one in San Jac. We're so excited about this Bachelor's of Science degree in nursing. This is really, really exciting news. We're working on this as we currently speak. More will be coming. And so we opened the Edge Center in aerospace, and what we provide there, I'm trying to get to the Generation Park conversation here. What we provide at the Edge Center is aerospace, electrical, structural, and industrial automation. This is really exciting. If you get an opportunity, please go by and visit that facility. It's an exciting facility. So we've had 16 new facilities that come online since 2009. So the board believes in this. They're behind us. Our chancellor is behind us. The senior leadership team is behind us. And we know that the barriers that we have to move is that if there's not a facility in that service area, we have to put something in that service area that's going to be able to service the community. So at our central campus, we have our CPET building named our Lindale Basal facility. At Central Campus, we have a welcome center that we're bringing online in 2020, as well as our cosmetology and culinary center at North, as well as one at South. And at South, we're doing an engineering and technology facility as well. Again, leading to Generation Park. So in the northern part where you are today, this is a part of our service area, just slightly about 2 feet that way is our service area. And so what we found is that the population was growing and they needed access to education, those pathways that we originally talked about. So the board decided to work with the community and develop what I love that got me over here from all the way from Katy, that moved me over here, is Generation Park, which is coming online in fall of 2020. I can't do this work by myself, so we have in the room with us Dr. Kelly Mizell, who's our Director of Instructional Services. Dr. Mizell, if you don't mind waving. Ms. Sonia Townsend, who's our Director of Student Services, so I really appreciate it. So what we did in Generation Park is we purchased 57 acres and we're putting up our first 55,000 square feet facility. It will open in the fall of 2020, which will be August, for fall courses. But we have a master plan to build out that space at 57 acres. So continue to listen to what we're going to bring to you as far as covering the space. And I guess that was my time.
That's the end of the slide. It's the end of the PowerPoint.
No, it's got like a couple more. Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Kelly Mizell if she doesn't mind coming up and telling us a little bit more about the classes that will be offered at the Generation Park campus. Dr. Mizell.
Thank you, Dr. Dukes. Thank you for having us today. We're very excited to be in Generation Park. We have many of our faculty have requested to transfer to this campus, some of our very best faculty. We're going to be hiring some new faculty. Primarily, we're going to be starting out teaching academic transfer courses. So we'll be offering all the courses that students will need to take to complete an Associate of Arts, an Associate of Science, and degrees, and transfer to the university of their choice. We have designed pathways that will get them to the university of their choice in 2 years with no extra credits, and they'll transfer as a junior to that university of their choice. So we are also going to try some unique things. So we've been trying to really innovate. As Dr. Dukes mentioned, we've been on a journey of pathways. This is a national-wide movement, and so San Jacinto College has been making many changes to conform to this pathways design. I was recently just the director of pathways in my past job. So some of the issues that we're looking at, our theme was to remove barriers for our students. And as he mentioned, many of our students, 77% are part-time. And we know that we need to find ways to support them to overcome the barriers that make them go part-time, because life happens. And if you're taking 1 or 2 courses a semester, it's going to take you like 10 years to get a community college, an associate's degree. And in that time, you know, you've gotten married, you've had babies, and things happen, life happens. So what we're doing at this new campus, and trying to see if we can roll it out college-wide, is we're going to be offering courses in an 8-week part of term. So in these 8-week courses, students will take, they'll meet regular time at the campus, but half of their course will be online. And the faculty will be very engaged with their students. These will be well-designed courses online. We have a great educational tech department that's helping us design these courses. So say that they can take half of their courses in 8A and half in 8B, just 2 and 2, you're full-time. The grades are better. Studies have shown the grades are better because they're focusing on 2 courses at a time. And so we want to get these students to go full-time so they can get out, get on their journey, and start supporting their community. That's one of the many things we're going to try. I think my time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Tony Townsend just to come up for 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds, so keep me honest. So I'm Sonia Townsend. The areas that I will be covering was financial aid, admissions, testing department, student engagement, orientation, campus and tours, and also the EPCC office and our counseling office. So just to give you a little history of me, I've been with the college maybe 15 years. My background started in financial aid, VA, and now I'm in educational planning. Really excited for this opportunity. Had a meeting with my staff yesterday, and the main thing we came away with is we don't want to change just one life. We're interested in changing generations. This is personal to us. We love San Jack. We highly believe in education. Okay, I see my...
So if you have any questions, I'll be around for about 10 to 20 minutes before I go to another meeting. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks. Any questions? Dr. Dokes? All right, so next up would be Dr. Roddy from Holy Trinity. And again, thank you for all the speakers. They are going to hang around afterwards. So we're going to wrap up maybe a couple minutes over, but afterwards, all the speakers are promised to stay around. You can come up, answer all the questions you want of them, and all that. So Dr. Roddy.
Come to Bizcom, Blaine's. Have fun. and he said they were videoing. I have a cheat sheet to help me stay on time, so now you know how I got through graduate school. Troy Roddy, headmaster, head of school at Holy Trinity Episcopal, is my second year at that school. For those of you who don't know where we are, we're located 2 miles down Lockwood Road. It's less than a cross-country team practice away, and we would love to see you. Before I get into what we're doing at the school and a little bit about us, I will say that there's a few ways, if you want to learn more about us, that you can do that, and we would love to learn more about you. One, Mrs. Lisa Lane, our Director of Enrollment Management, and I will be here afterwards, obviously, to answer questions. You can visit our campus whenever you like. We would be happy to give you a tour of our school. And if you like podcasts and you're just bored and you want to hear my voice some more, I do almost a weekly little update on what's going on around the school, so you can find it on different podcatchers. Look for Office Hours Live with me. You can do that if you wish. So, Holy Trinity Episcopal School is a non-for-profit school that serves children from 3 years old through 5th grade. We are a private independent school, which means we receive no funding outside of tuition and gifts to the school or different business partnerships that we may establish. We don't receive any funding from the church, nor do we receive any funding from the government. What else about us? Check the cheat sheet, Troy. That's about us. You'll see on the slides up here some of these things that are respect, compassion, integrity. These are the core values that our school is built around. And when I arrived 2 years ago, I was asked to assist with the board of directors in getting the school into its next phase of growth and prosperity. And what I've done for 2 years is challenge our teachers, challenge our administrators, and our board to think big. And what we keep coming back to is that Holy Trinity Episcopal School wants to be a strong, transformative partner in the growth and prosperity of the Lake Houston area. I believe very strongly that if you're going to attract the right families into the area, you want to build houses, you want to give professionals and college-educated people and fill Generation Park and send great students to San Jac to do the great work that you just heard about there, I believe that every great community has to have great choices for education. We are not, I don't consider us in competition with other schools that serve children at those ages. I'm a big believer in a rising tide lifts all vessels. And so we are challenged by the schools in the area to do our best. And we go to work every day, hopefully challenging other schools in the area to do even better for their students if we're able to do that. A couple of things about what we have planned for our future that I think is of great interest to you guys. And one is building more of a business partnership with the businesses in this community. One of them that we've established in the last year is with the Dynamo Dash Youth Soccer Association. They've been great partners with us. They've invested plenty of resources on their own into our facility to build that up. And we are their humble Atascocita campus. And if you have a child looking to play soccer, you should come out there and check that out. We have other business partnerships that we deal with in the area. I-9 Sports uses our facility for basketball. Our emerging Discovery Farm is an Urban Harvest recognized garden, affiliate garden. We're happy to do that. And we have a partnership, an ongoing partnership with Including Kids, which is a great thing for us to do out there. But Dynamo Dash has been a great partner for us, and it's a great sign of the growth in the area. They have almost 200 students or 200 children that come out 4 nights a week, and talking to them, they're anticipating between 250 and 300 next year, which is a nice growth for them. In addition to that, we're also getting ready we're on track to break ground this summer on an additional 24,000 square feet of learning space. All of our students from 3-year-olds through 5th grade will have new learning facilities built for them. That is scheduled to open in the fall of 2021. We're very excited about that project because it speaks clearly to what we want to do with our students in terms of being engaged, active, educated people in the world. So we're very excited about that. We have a couple of other things coming up on the calendar that I'm happy to tell you about if you want to learn more about our school. Like I said, when we're done Mrs. Lane and I will be right over here, and we're happy to share with you more about what we're doing at Holy Trinity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Roddy. And now we've got Ian with the Director of Marketing with Report Development. Where you at, Ian? Here we go. Go over a few of their upcoming events and a relationship here that we have with the Rotary with the Major Generation Park.
Hey everybody, I'm Ian Adler with the Core Development of Generation Park. Just a quick show of hands, how many of you guys have been to Redemption Square? Excellent, all right. So we're going to talk not about too many development updates today, it's mostly about what's happening in the square. So to start off, we have the block party, which is our third annual event. We've got some new changes this year, which is why Danny's standing up here with me. But we'll play a quick video. I'm assuming, how many of you guys have been to the block party in the last 2 years? Okay, it's about 30 of you. Okay, cool. So we'll play the video so you guys can see what this event is. But just a quick preface, this is a free to the public community event that the whole entire Northeast Houston is welcome to come out and enjoy. So. This year's event will take place on May 2nd, likely from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and Dana is going to talk about our new partnership with the Lake Houston area Rotaries and what that means for the future of the event.
Thank you, Ian. I'll be quick. Has anybody ever been to the fish fry that the Humble Rotary Club had ever done? Good, we got a couple of hands there. How about the spaghetti dinner? Because we've been doing the spaghetti. Very good. All right, the next question, is anybody a nonprofit down here? Anybody have a nonprofit organization? Cool. So let me just tell you a little bit about what we do. So we're obviously very honored to be partnered up with Generation Park. Whenever Ian approached Kathy Lehman, we thought it was a joke. Because, are you kidding me? We get to partner up with you guys because we've seen your event. It actually was on the same day as our event last year. And so
we didn't know that when we planned it.
Yeah, he was already trying to sell us back then to partner up with. He's like, come on, it's a great day to have a partnership. So just to give you an idea, with our spaghetti dinner that we've done at Humble Rotary for years, probably over 30 years, and our fish fry, we usually raise on average about $80,000. That's a big number. What does that mean for you guys? I would tell you, in the Humble ISD area, we give away about $24,000 in scholarships in my year as presidency. We gave over $56,000 to community grants. So if you're a nonprofit and you have a project, a special, unique project, come to Humble Rotary and submit a grant request to us. Because if you're going to be going to the block party now it's 501c3. Those contributions, those donations that you make will go into the foundation, and they'll be able to go out into the community. Almost about 89 to 92% of every dollar that's going to go, it's going to be in this Lake Houston, Humble area. Whether it's Mission Northeast or whether it's Ham, we're out there trying to do whatever we can with this money from our Humble Rotary Foundation to help our community out. But I love the scholarships, so every single school gets an equal amount of scholarships from the Humble Rotary. And so please, we invite you to come out May 2nd. We're looking for sponsorships. Obviously, go to the website and Facebook. There'll be tons of media coming up.
Thanks, Dave. So that's going to be our big event, the kickoff of the summer. We hope you guys all make it out. If you guys do want to sponsor or partner with us for the event, talk to myself or Danny after today. Bizcom. I'll just quickly go through the stuff. I know we're short on time. You guys should have all gotten a sheet, or most of you gotten a sheet of what's coming up at Redemption Square. So I'll just list through these. But something we are doing with Summer Creek High School, we're sponsoring their 5K coming up March 7th. So if you do want to participate in that the sponsorship of that and the participation of that goes to support the Summer Creek Booster Club. We're also starting a farmers market March 28th. We've got a running club, Cars and Coffee's coming back March 21st. We're partnering with the YMCA to bring probably 2 classes a week out to the lawn at Redemption Square. Free classes, so if you want to get outdoors and sweat a little bit, come join us. And then one new addition that's temporary at Redemption Square is the Manor. So if you're looking for some last-minute gifts for Valentine's Day, they've opened up next to BB&T Bank. They'll be there through the 26th of the month, and then we'll be bringing new pop-ups in as time goes on. And then the last thing, because I know we're out of time, if you have a band or know someone who has a band in the area, we are going to be starting up Live Music Fridays. So we're looking for some local talent that wants to come out and entertain the community. And this Friday for Valentine's Day, we'll have live music as well, and a caricature artist out in the plaza. So if you want to have date night there, you can commemorate it with a little caricature. So that's all I got. Hopefully that was...
It's a great time. We're going to the block party, and it's going to go back to a great organization again. All right, so just a couple quick community announcements, and then we'll thank our sponsors again. We got a quick video, super quick video on LeaderCast Lake Houston on May 7th. We've been bringing LeaderCast here for like 10 years, quite a few years. We've been bringing it. It's a live broadcast from Atlanta. We hosted a Second Baptist. It's on May 7th this year. It's about positive disruption. It's great continuing development for your teams, for your leadership. I send a bunch of staff. Maura Herman's a big sponsor, helps bring a lot of staff as well too. We have sponsorships available this year for that. So if you want to see about that, we've got flyers at the door. A couple of my staff will be out there passing those out. And so we'd love for you all to be involved with that. And we also have one other community announcement. Nikki Lacey, are you here? Here we are. All right, just got a quick announcement about the Boots for Troops golf tournament.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nikki Lacey. I'm with Planet Ford. I'm the director of communications and outreach in our community to do a lot of different things. One of the things that I'm most proud of doing is giving back to our community through Boots for Troops. Boots for Troops is very near and dear to all of our hearts. Those of you who may or may not know, our general manager, John Sentner, he is a Vietnam veteran, and Randall Reed is also a military father, and I myself am a Marine mom. So I sit on the board for Boots for Troops, which gives back to our active deployed, which is a little bit different than giving back to a lot of our veterans. But through this organization, we have 3 primary programs, which we send some of the world's best care packages over to those who are active deployed, which actually give us the opportunity for our soldiers and our Marines to tell us what they need over wherever they're stationed at. We've sent over 1,500 of those in the past 5 years. We also have a Warrior Morale program where we bring home those at Christmas time that would like to come home and spend time with their family at the holidays, and also for any emergency leave that they need to come back. We've brought over 100 of them home in the past 5 years. And then also this year, we're very honored, we work with veterans as well, to be raising money through a sale of a Ford, through Planet Ford. We're going to be raffling off an F-150, and the funds from that are going to go to a service dog for a veteran. And I'm not sure if many of you know that service dogs are about $30,000 to actually train for a veteran, so they're pretty expensive. So with the help through our different programs and our fundraisers that we have, our golf tournament that's coming up March the 6th, our Boots and Suits Gala, which Marcus Luttrell, those of you may know him, the lone survivor and best-selling author, he will be our keynote speaker. And then Concert in the Country, Tracy Lawrence was our headliner last year. So we have a lot of fun things that we do to fundraise. And then also throughout the year we have different on-site packaging parties.